everyone. We're so glad you're here today. And are we early?
No.
Oh, well, nobody's come in here yet, but Fleeta is the first one here, the only one here right now. Fleeta, you are the one and only early bird tonight. And right behind you came John Greason.
Dr. Greason.
And then James D. And
right.
Diane West. And then Dee Dee. Hey, Dee Dee.
Y'all ready to go, I see.
Dee Dee, that was a pretty little baby, grandbaby that you have. I saw that picture, and that was one little beautiful girl. Hello, Joe. I'm glad you're here
Dr.
today.
Joe?
Glad you're here today. Yes, sir. And Diana, I'm glad you're here. I'm waiting for Vincent. I think he wanted to come in on us today and be a guest. Hey, Sis Chris, I'm glad you're here, sweetie. Linda.
Linda Lee.
It's Linda. She said, hey, hello, Godettes.
That's pretty good. I like that. Godettes. Oh, I like that. I tell you on the boss. I'm going to tell the boss man to give you a raise.
Lordy. Hey, sissy and brother-in-law. Hey, sweethearts. And hey, James Kessler. Brother Kessler.
J. How you doing out there,
There comes Katrina.
Trina Mae Hickbar.
And here's Sadie Lata. Have I seen you before, Sadie?
No, I seen you.
Have you been on here before with us? Let us know where you're coming in from. Hello, Judy Jude. Good afternoon to you guys. Vincent, aren't you supposed to be on with us tonight? Have you hit your link? What's going on, man? Hello, Pat. How are you? Keep her in the prayers. She's in the hospital. Oh, okay, sweetheart. We will keep you in prayer. All right, Vincent, can you hear us?
Oh, there he is.
Can you hear us? I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Are you muted?
Unmute yourself.
Are you muted? I can't hear you. And while Vincent's setting up, Pat, let us know what it is that you're in. Well, if it's not too personal, give us just a little bit of clue about why you're in the hospital, Dee Dee. Pat,
yeah.
Yes, let us know. Hey, Diana. And so, Dee Dee.
Is that Diana?
Yeah, that's Diana.
I can't. She's sneaking in. Let me see you, baby girl.
Yeah.
I can't see you. Come around the corner.
Well, she will in a minute. Yeah, he's still getting ready. Hey, Pearl. Glad you're here, darling.
Pearl.
And Vern. Glad you're here, baby. And Sandra, have you gotten back in your house yet? Your apartment yet? Let us know. We got it. We got Vincent with us tonight. I'm excited. I'm excited.
I don't know whether he can't hear us.
I think he can hear us. We can't hear him. Yeah.
I keep working on it.
I think I don't have you muted on this end.
Get both of y'all in the picture and we can see at least.
He's reloading. Okay, while he's doing that, Sadie says she used to be a member. Okay. Used to come with Dorothy and Teresa James, who live in Berkeley. Okay.
Hey.
Oh, I think I remember you now, Sadie. Yes, I do.
Hey, it ain't no used to be. You ain't going nowhere.
You're still a member, darling. You're still a member.
As long as you got breath and britches on, that's all that counts, girl.
I don't know about that.
That'll work it there. You know your application don't never run out.
Wow. Diana said they can hear us. Good. Well, I know Vincent will get it straight because he's tech savvy. He'll get it straight.
He'll get it.
Yeah, we just wait on him. He'll be fine.
He's looking, but he can't. We can.
And Sandra says she's still not quite in her house yet.
Well, don't worry,
at least they're working on it, sweetheart.
Yeah, it's a working thing. I understand when you. I can't say much because some of us get into predicaments that you can't talk nothing about it. You have to wait and see God. Your inner self will work it out for you. Your inner self will work it out. Yeah. I'm convinced of that. Great peace is here with us now.
Vincent's got so much equipment. Look at that. Look at that. See, I would be confused just sitting there. We don't have near that much stuff going on over here. We are very streamlined, really, and I uh, need to get some more equipment. And Laverne says she wanted to say thank you to everyone for their prayers, their support, their food, their calls, and their presence at her mom's home going during her this week past. And it was a beautiful homegoing, very beautiful. She said, my family and I really appreciate you.
Vern, I'd like to figure out some kind of way between us and you and Johnny, how I can sit down and spend some time with you to get the feel of where you are and possibly see your mom over on the other side and see how she's doing. Okay. And I'm pretty sure that we will make that happen.
Yeah.
I feel, as I speak to you, Vern, I feel the word miracle, MIRACLE. I feel the word, it's working. Honey, I feel it in you.
And right now, I want everyone to type in, we choose to see Pat healed and well. We choose to see you healed and well. That's for Pat. She said she was in the hospital, and we want to make sure that we honor that request. Okay. All right. Vince is coming in again. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Loud.
All right.
What you do? Change locations.
I had to change my device, which is all right. It's all right. Get it load up correctly.
Let your wife come in there. I like to see her.
That's a,
Diana.
Yeah, I can't see her. Lean over your shoulder.
Hi, Diana. It's good to meet you, sweetheart.
Oh, that's Diana.
Face
Diana,
to face. Yeah.
stay on there. We're gonna talk to you a little bit.
So good to see you, Vincent.
Good to see you too.
Yes,
I was telling Diana, I was like, right up into it. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know why I'm nervous, but I think that,
Oh gosh. It's not. You're just excited.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the anxiousness.
That's right. That's right.
And everything. It's wonderful to be able to speak with you both and
yes,
and be on this just journey that
this journalist journey.
After some time that I definitely am on. It took a moment to kind of put the pieces together. And to see, to wake up. But
yeah.
What
Well,
if
you're definitely on the path, man.
What if I tell you we the ideal of being asleep is an illusion, that we've never been asleep, just that we played the game until we found out we were not asleep.
Right.
Now let's make sure we deal with Pat, and then we'll jump in here with Vincent.
Hold on.
But we wanted to make sure that we say to Pat that she's healed and well. We choose to see you healed and well, Pat.
Yes,
and we hold you in that vision, and we speak to the construct of your thinking, that you come into absolute peace regarding whatever it is that the doctors are looking for or doing, and that you just absolutely take a deep breath and enjoy the ride. Okay. Enjoy the ride. Everyone's wishing you the same thing and praying the same thing for you. And every time we think of you, Pat, and what you said tonight, we will mention your name and we'll always keep you in prayer.
Always.
Wow.
Okay.
Now, and Judy says it's nice. Can you see the comments on your side?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So Judy says it's nice to see you, Vincent.
It's nice to be able to interact.
I
always tell Diana, I say, I'm going to be quiet this time when they come on. I ain't going to type so much. I feel like
it's hard.
Distracting. Sometimes I feel like maybe, the questions or what's coming to me is sometimes pulling you away from where you guys are going. So I try to find the right times and the right moments to speak when it's needed and to listen.
You learned that in music.
Yes, sir.
To have a pause.
And that you got to be ready to get it. When that space is there, if you ain't ready, you ain't gonna get it.
Absolutely. That is the truth of the matter. Always be ready for the moment of rest.
Yes.
For the crescendo. So I'm aware of those things now. I have been having nights where I am awakened and can't sleep. And Diana's always like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm active on the inside." So I've been kind of, as I stated before, on this journey. The thing of it for me is that I don't really want to have a lot of knowledge. I find myself going back in this circle of things with all of the different teachings.
Yeah, all of them.
Yes.
When do you feel like, Vincent, when do you feel like it took a turn for you? I know you came up as we did through the Christian religion. We were so confined to that particular frame of thinking and all of that. But when did it start to change for you?
I'm going to be honest with you. Of course, you both know I lost my mom in 2010 to cancer. And, you know, what's weird is even though I was in the church and knew what I knew, I still somehow kind of got angry at the situation and got angry at everyone and kind of got angry at the church, so to speak.
Knowing that,
like,
that was it. I'm done with this.
And you know that happens because when in that frame of mind that we were all in at the time, we were teaching and had been taught that we had absolute control over all of that, which is a fallacy. But this is what we were believing, and what a lot of people, I hate to say, died believing.
Right. That was another thing. It was a number of things that happened within a 2-year span. For one, I found myself trying to kind of strengthen the relationship between me and my father. And at the time, he's an adult. He's his own person. I didn't know him. So it was this whole disconnect, so to speak. So I got even more frustrated with that. And it just seemed like I kept getting frustrated until even in personal relationships, stuff like that. And then right around 2012, I was in Florida. At that time, I had finally moved from 2010 to 2012 down to Florida. I was in Clearwater, Florida, working for the Philadelphia Phillies at their baseball field down there. And I had just had enough. I had kind of fallen back into some old habits. And
whether you know it or not, that's normal.
Yes, very normal.
The ideal that we're not supposed to, I'll be honest with you, what you deal with is the burden, the false sense of security, insecurity that was placed on you through God to do this, God that, and you found out that it was not quite like that, and that sends you into a state of depression and anger.
A state of disillusionment, which is good because now you're coming up out of the illusion.
Right, and that's exactly what it was. And I remember, I don't know how, YouTube at the time, I think Obama was running for president again. And that was just like, keep going with what we have, I don't want anything to change. I need some sense of normalcy or solidity. And so that happened. And at the time I was on YouTube and I ran across this video, and the video basically, the theme of it was that we have to visualize our lives the way we want it to be in order for us to actually change it around us. And the thing this person kept saying was, I am happy. I am happy. So I don't know why, but I held on to that. And the very first thing I did was I got on Facebook with a poster that I made that said, I am happy. And I continued along that hashtag. Pearl James. I'm sorry. Not to get distracted.
Yeah, they're all saying hello to you, Vincent.
Yeah, they see you.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been knowing Vincent since he was knee high to a duck. So
yes.
No, she didn't say it right. Knee high to a duck's butt.
Yes, and I still answer to little Vince. I will always, that's one of the monikers, I guess, of the lessons of the stages in this experience of life that you go through. You run into people that are dear to you. You have family in more ways than one, and it has all come back. I'm noticing this spiral. Yeah. It's not necessarily a full circle, but it's a spiral, and it's like closer. The more I go around the spiral, I get closer to the center. Good. And moving from the I am happy state of mind state of actually seeing things now start to change in my life. And I remember Tony Patterson called me and said, I'm doing this movie that I'm writing and I'm filming it, and I want you to do the music. And I was like, man, I hadn't really done any music in a while. I was mostly when I was in the church, and it's just been so long. He said, well, can you do it or not? And I was like, well, okay. I'll
Sounds like Tony.
So I did it, and in fact, I did 2 films, and then he called me April of 2013, and he said, listen, you need to get to Los Angeles. You need to get here. Your gifts and what you have inside of you, everything that you're doing is going on here.
And part of it's standing behind you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I see her.
Yes. I believe that. That was a prayer. She is part of a silent prayer for a long time, and I'm having to remember that in my falling asleep. I'm having to wake up in the midst of any type of obstacle to remember the end goal, because Lord, we done been through a little bit, but the truth of the matter is, you both have kept us on this path of wanting to go forward. And I remember when I first introduced her to you two online, and I said, well, I want you to meet Pastor and Sister Sawyer. They are my heart. And I said, they don't really know how much, because everything I know now started with them. It started, as a seed that was planted a very long time ago. And so at the time, she didn't get it. That's normal. And I have to ask from time to time, because I watch, I say I don't want to have so much knowledge, but I want to gain wisdom. And I watch these videos, these teachings on YouTube, and I know she's like, what is he looking at now? Buddhist monks. It's looking at things about Judaism, Taoism, all of these different things. But what I'm noticing is all of the connections and everything, and what the theme of everything remains to be.
Yes.
Here's the way it is.
Yes.
You've heard the expression, the mother lode. That means this: prospector and the rivers of gold. The gold is coming from somewhere, but you can't.
A central location.
Central location. And some do run across the actual core essence of the place in the rock where the gold is coming from.
They'll find a strong vein.
Strong vein, and that's called the mother lode. Now, I've been around mountain areas, and I wondered where the spring starts, and so I had to go up and find it. One of the most amazing things that happens when you find this spot inside of your essence, you will not ever want to leave it. And life will have to suffer, people will have to suffer, and everything, even your food and your sleep will suffer, because you haven't found anything anywhere close to combat you or to equal the mother load or the place for the golden trump. It's like matchup, and that's what you're dealing with. And until you find this place inside yourself, like I always say to Jesus, here lately, I had a vision of me grabbing his heart and squeezing it. And I'll tell him I don't want to let go, and I'm not going to let go. So here it is again. Long story short, spirit will not ever leave you. It has never left you, and it can't leave you because it is the heaven. Your eternal self is the heaven you came from. Now I want you to hear that again. Where you came from is what you are and have always been inside of yourself. There's nothing else. No, and then the feeling you get then is, well, I guess I ain't got nothing else to do now. I don't guess I got anybody to talk to now. I done found out the truth of the mother load and what a place in the mountain is. I guess I just had to sit down there with it. All right, sit with it. Take it like it is. Go ahead on and allow yourself to feel every feeling that you've had and disappointment. But I can promise you this. At such a time that your mother load sees fit, it'll begin to break off more pieces of itself. And sometimes it'll take old age. Sometimes it'll take a crisis. Sometimes it'll take success and failure. But know this, you cannot ever lose God just because things don't seem like it's working right.
I want to read a poem to you. Can I?
Yes.
I'm going to read a poem to you, to all of you guys, because you're joining this conversation with us, Vincent and Diana. So we're just glad to have you guys listening in. But I wrote this about 4 years ago when he was invited to the chapter meeting of a near-death experience in Durham, North Carolina. And he had to speak for them, and we went down. Both of us went down. And I wrote this after being with them because the presence that I felt and we felt was so strong because they all had one commonality. They knew God is love. In spite of everything else, in spite of all of the theology that they'd had, in spite of all of the religious teachings, they knew God is love. And they knew there was absolutely no judgment coming from God to them. That all of the judgment was in them.
Right.
Coming from themselves.
Yes.
Passing sentence on themselves.
I've been watching videos.
Yeah, and so they were so gracious. And not that they had wings or halos, but they were just very gracious and understanding of everyone. So this is when I wrote this poem. It's called The Gentle Folk. And this is how it goes. There is a place where no one is seen as a stranger, where no one is ever faced with danger. A place that is gentle, kind, and light, where nothing would ever trigger a fight. A place that is boundaryless and wide, where we walk with angels side by side. A place of smiles and happy tears, where all hearts are open and there are no more fears. A place where love is seen on every face and arms are opened wide to embrace. A place where everyone measures the same, where you're truly known even when no one knows your name. A place where mysteries are explored, where truth is accepted and never ignored. A place where those of old age are wide-eyed and still learning, where time seems to rewind and to youth we are returning. There is a place where we all fit and we all belong. It's right in the midst of the gentle folk that you'll make yourself at home.
I was just getting ready to say that sounds like home.
That's home. That's us. That's us. And coming into this place of being soft on the inside is hard for most Westerners because we're afraid. We're afraid of being taken advantage of.
Yes. Yes. When sometimes I sit and I practice when I get time in between of being on set and doing TV. And I'll sit and I'll play on the piano, and I'll go to this place inside of me, which is very, it's very peaceful like that. It feels like what that poem describes.
It's home. Yes.
And it's there are times I don't, want to pull out of that, out of that place. Yeah. And I'm wondering, is that very place the same place I should go to when I'm wanting to move on the inside? The way I'm looking to move on the inside. Because it's not that I'm looking for any new information now. Really, as I said before, and the confirmation of things are there. I mean, literally every week, if there's a few videos I'll watch, you and Pastor will say something that is right along with something I was watching, and I'm like, it's like you guys are right here in my living room.
And we are you. Yeah, we're you.
Right. And so I pay attention to that, and I don't want to seem like I'm searching for something because I already know.
Yeah. You're no longer searching, but there's something, and I feel the same thing, and I think our heart is longing for even a deeper sense of a connection. Not so much a deep connection, but that we don't have, but just a deeper sense of that connection.
The unknowing now is more important to me.
Okay.
Than the knowing.
That's good.
I'm wanting to move away from everything learned and just experience that which I'm already experiencing, but now that I get it, it's I just want to be without the I guess the way to say it is without the identification of anything.
I understand. Judy says this. She says, I love your heartfelt expressions. And your desire to know God more and more is so clearly evident. It's beautiful. Yes, it is. Yes. And Trina says it's called the sweet spot.
Yes, I see every time Pastor pops. I get
oh my goodness.
I get giddy on the inside because it's like I can relate a little bit to what's going on. I'm not quite right there, but I see it. I see it working.
Sometimes you see more than you can say, and that's when he pops, because he sees so much that he can't really contain it and can't get it all out.
Right.
But I don't know if I don't think it's a phase or a stage that you're in. I just believe that your heart is so open now, and your heart realizes that there is no end to the unveiling of God within yourself. Yes,
I realize that.
Yes.
The journey is infinite. This passes this clay.
Yes.
And we continue to journey onward. I'm not even you know, it's the being here in this part for me that I finally, I think I'm learning to appreciate. And after all of the classes and teachings and just the videos and still being able to connect in a way that is educational. I'm yet a student, but there are times where, because I don't want self-sabotage, I become a teacher of myself, because I've done it so many times. In fact, when I was going back over some of the old YouTube videos, some of the heart-to-hearts, and I was listening to you guys talking to me through when I was commenting then, and I was going, now, I remember this, but there were events that happened from that point to now that I'm like, why did that happen? You know, why? And so it's this whole, again, I don't want to fall asleep so many more times. Though I know that is the process, because it's like I said, I feel like it's a spiral. It's closer and closer to the center point with each pass of this thing.
And I think if I speak for myself, there's this longing to disappear, and that doesn't make sense to the mind, but there is this longing to disappear. And years ago, in my early conversion days, I had that experience that you might have heard me talk about, where I actually saw my face transfigure in the mirror.
Yes.
And I heard the voice of God inside myself saying, my eyes are your eyes, my mouth is your mouth, my ears are your ears, and so on and so on. And I was afraid for 2 weeks not to look. I didn't look in the mirror. I was so afraid. But it wasn't the face of it was the face of Christ, but it wasn't the face of the man Jesus that we've been teaching. But it was Jesus that we've been teaching, if that makes any sense. The perception or the concept I had of Jesus was completely, radically changed that day. I no longer look for him in the sky, as some churches are still teaching. He's going to crack the sky. I know where he is. I know who he is, and more importantly, and that gave me, that helped me to be fixed, the grace to be fixed in this inner knowing. And we've been talking about it for years, but it took us, we went through so many different stages as well, Vincent. You know that. Because when we first started out, we weren't talking like this, you know.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. In fact, I thought for a while I was going to be in trouble. I was like, now.
Not really.
Not what they taught me growing up. You know.
Oh, my God.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Pastor. Go ahead.
Here's something of a rhyme. If it's puns. You see without eyes. You hear without ears. You taste without tongue. You move without going anywhere. Mm-hmm. You're there without steps. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great peace and love is here without arriving. All that you're looking for is where you're looking from.
Yes, sir.
And it arrived and keeps arriving in your identity, your real orderness self. You are the orderness self.
The orderness self?
Yeah.
Yes.
O-R-D-E-R-N-E-S-S. Orderness. S-A-V-Y. How would you pronounce S-A-V-Y?
Just watching the order.
If it's 2 Y's, it'd be savvy.
Savvy is your name. Now, eventually, you're going to bring up, and it'll be your inner self that asks itself, what do you want to call me? Since I am seemingly hid, and now in the mystical state, you discover me. But he said, you don't discover. He said, I allow you to find. Yeah. He says this, there's no one else in the universe outside of infinity. Infinite. Your real self is called savvy, meaning you are the savior that saved yourself. You are the endless self.
Yes, sir.
It is called unmasking the false self, the unchangeless self. You meet yourself constantly, and the ego gives off the idea that you're not satisfied. Right. Well, I would say it like this. Now that you know who you are, put it in its place. This is the last time you're going to cause my awareness to drift away from who I really am. So you end up telling your mind, stay the hell out of your heart's business. Because your heart is God. And somewhere in this thing, you'll eventually, God will let you open his chest up and waddle and grab his heart. And once you do, the only thing that'll be left is the desire to see him and never leave. You won't look for him in the sky, but you begin to see him everywhere you go, with or without agreement of salvation the old way. So now here comes the Lutheran, the Presbyterian, the Catholic, the Holiness, the Church of God in Christ, the Apostolic, the Evangelicals. None of them can threaten you anymore. And yet you can hear and see in each one of them a piece of the infinite identity that the mind fights with to cause them to believe they got the answer, nobody else does. Yeah. What they're looking for that you found out that they say that they have an answer nobody else does is you. And the you that's you in them is the same you that's in them. Now, go ahead. Go ahead. You got it.
Go ahead.
You got it. Go ahead.
So that's who, today I had a thought of, that's who, when Jesus was praying to his Father, he was praying to himself.
Yeah, that's true. That is a real truth. Took me a long time to see that.
The answer.
Yes. And the self that you're mentioning is the self that it's like there's a you that is not you, but is you.
Right. Yes. That's what I got.
Yeah.
It was late yesterday and today, and I couldn't sleep last night because of it. And I've been all day today just pacing because of it. And it's interesting because now the scriptures, when I go back and read the word, I said, doggone it, it did it again.
Yeah, it opens up to you, and it's really there. That's why I say that there is no religion that anyone can be have an allegiance to that will prevent them from waking up. There is nothing that will prevent you from waking up. And I do believe that the gravitational pull of our true self is pulling us, it's pulling very, very strong right now. There's a scripture that says we're hid with Christ in God, and it simply means that we're entering into the consciousness that was in the Jesus body. And as we enter into the consciousness that was in that Jesus body, that Christ consciousness, all of a sudden we take on the same behavior because we're walking in the same thought processes.
Right.
We're walking in the same feelings. We're walking in the same patterns with all of the things that Jesus, the man, would have done in his awakening and enlightened state is what we will now do, because we're walking and entered into that same consciousness. And that's what Christ consciousness is. That's
Absolutely.
what
You are the transference self. You are the attractification of an identification impregnated into the expectation of beyond the long journey of a illusionary self that constantly alters itself by your presence to present itself, and is frustrated and cannot understand what it is inside the real self that keeps making it submit to God. And yet there's a part of you that thinks that it has to do something to do it. No, it's over. It's over. It's over. It's all over. Always been over. Never had to start. There is nothing for you to do. Because if you do anything, it's going to be him doing it.
Right. Right.
It was a sage or a spiritual teacher that just recently said, if you try to make one step toward God, you've moved away from him.
Right. And I understood that when Pastor said, if you look for him on a mountain, when you get to the top, he's already gone from where you're going to look for him at. And it took me a minute to say, well, how? Because that doesn't make any sense. But
because when you get to the mountain, it was him walking up the mountain and your legs.
All right, here it is. Here's the paradox. God is the you that don't get in order to be the you that got it. And then when you don't get, he got it, then he says, it is.
And it can only be veiled by our belief that he is not present. Linda says we are here pretending that we're playing that we're not God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see you, man. I tell you,
yes, sir. It's so good to talk to you, Vincent.
It is really, really good to be able to sit with you both and speak on this. I don't have a church here or anything that I go to. I don't entertain that idea
we're not going to church either.
Right. So
we're not going to church either.
This is. It was funny because I was, as I'm going through the thoughts or whatever, I said, well, this whole pandemic thing is kind of what I needed in a way, and for everything. When it first happened, and we did a Zoom thing, I think at the beginning of 2020. I was in a totally different headspace.
I remember that. Yes.
And I remember it was a shattering of what I thought things were supposed to be. And I thought I was losing my mind.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
Right. So much was going on and I couldn't sleep, and but somehow again I held on to the teachings. I held on, and I remember going into the bathroom and looking myself in the mirror, but it wasn't me who said it, but it was me who said it. You gotta get it together. Whatever it is that is going on with you, okay, it's happened, it's over, get it together. And I remember slowly, from that point to this one, just coming out of this false sense of awareness that for so long I had fallen into. Almost, it was willfully. It's weird because when I look at it, I say, well, we all have choices. And ultimately, it's the choices you make that place you where you are in present time, right? Because of cause and effect. And what you honestly desire within your heart is what will, in the long term, materialize. If you water that enough, if you put enough energy into it and enough thought into it, but not so much thought, but
right.
the knowing
Intent.
that right. And so just, oh my goodness, just being careful of words and just all of
but
the things.
But the thing is, you are careful, but it isn't a deliberate carefulness, because you're able now to catch the you that's not you when it's talking.
Right. And I'm able to hear the me that is me when I'm talking. And sometimes it's like there was a moment where I was able to witness the whole thing, but not, I want to say, like, hijack the moment.
Okay.
We were shooting downtown last month here in Los Angeles in Skid Row, as I told you. It's It's over 200,000 homeless people in a 18-block radius. Tents and tents and tents.
We saw it on television. We saw it.
It's cardboard boxes.
We saw that.
Whatever they can makeshift put together.
Cars, vans, buses, everything. We saw it.
It's just, oh, wow. So what were you doing there? Well,
I'm a lighting programmer in television and film. I turn lights on, I make them brighter, I make them move, all of those things. And so they put lights in places that we necessarily can't on camera go and adjust. So my job is to be able to adjust them without having a person go there. So that's what I make sure I can do. And sometimes I'm not on set. We're filming, but I may be 500 feet away, 1,000 feet away. I may be outside. I may be in another room. But on this particular show, yes, sir.
Is there a CEO that you work with, or are you the CEO?
I'm the CEO of what's going on for what I do. I own the equipment. The equipment comes from Sands Entertainment. The production company signs a contractual agreement.
Where do you keep it stored up?
Where does he keep his equipment?
Yeah, your equipment. Whether you got a place to keep it stored, because there's a whole lot of stuff you can't just carry around with you.
Tell me about Diana. That's what she's like, we ain't got enough room. I mean, she's like, we got to do something.
Put Diana on. Put Diana on that.
I see Diana. Wait a minute. She's like, yes, we need something.
We are believing. I have been.
Can she talk? Can she talk?
Yes, I talk.
Okay, she looks like she's making signals to you.
Yeah. I'm very quiet.
I remember, Diana, when we first got married, we lived in a mobile home, and he had this idea to do upholstery. And he had no shop. So he brought people's furniture into the living room with the sewing machine. All of his equipment right there in our living room. And every time he took staples out of the people's furniture, they ended up in our carpet. So I thoroughly understand. I feel you. I really feel you. But eventually he ended up getting a shop, which was so great. So I'm believing that Vincent will get a studio.
Yeah. Diana, I sense the presence of somebody somewhere in one of the lifetimes that you lived was in a bad fire. And they were burnt beyond recognition, but they still survived. I feel that presence around you. And somebody that's connected to you is that being or that person. And it's almost like another form of that fire is this fire symbolizes something that you went through also in relationship to your family. And it was just as strong as a 3rd-degree burn. Nobody's told me anything about you, but all of a sudden I saw a person that's supposed to have been dead, but they're not, from a house fire, some tremendous heat. And yet when they survived it, you did. And this person that I see came to earth to go through this in order to be able to see the rest of the victory of God in this tough school that we're in. I also see you in a school, and you're amongst a lot of teachers in school. And I see God fulfilling a desire in your heart with your grandmother. I also see the presence of angels that have protected you. Now, I don't know what, I know I'm going to say this to you. This is what I see. I see an angel protect you from suicide. I see all this preserving you in the distance because there's something before you and him met and while y'all been together that has been so radical that you felt like you wanted to go off and get rid of yourself. And it won't work. It didn't work.
Because we're live, you have to get her permission.
I have permission to say this to you.
Yes.
Okay. 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 You want to talk?
No, go ahead. No, I just wanted to remind you because he forgets that we're live sometimes.
We're live, yeah. I want to hear your daddy say he love you. I want to hear your father say he love you, and I want to see you sit in his lap as a baby, armed around you, and tell him things that you didn't get a chance to, or you haven't so far. Wow. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but I feel this presence. Wow. I also feel you doing something to your fingernails because there's one that grow different, and you're trying to get it to shape up like the rest of your hand, which in turn tells me that there is some training in your hands for computer and keyboard. I feel that part of you. I feel a teacher in front of me that I am when I look at you. Long generations of evolution in your family and in your life. And I want to thank you, like I tell everybody else, I thank you for coming to earth and allowing us to see you and meet you again, because this is not the first time. I want to tell you that I see God doing something with your feet in the area of dancing. But what you're dancing on is transportation to get from point B to point A and point A to G. Okay, here it is again. They said, we don't have a position for you right now, but just contact us the next few hours, months, whatever, and we'll keep you on the tablet. If somebody was to not show up, then we would let you fill in for them. That's what I feel when I see you. And there is a lot of things working around both of you in pieces, but I'm asking God to bring the culmination of this together to where you can understand the mystical side of why you're here on the earth. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. I hope I've said something to both of you that sparks a fire in you. Not a fire, but spark interest. Yeah. Wait a minute. I see you coming from a big family. Okay, I'm going to say it like this. But I see somebody in heaven that left in a very, very unusual way, but it was really not because they had cancer. Whoever it was had cancer, and they left this earth in one of the lifetimes. I can't zero it in present moment right now. How God has spared your life and put a generation of long age in your family. I don't understand the whole thing, but I can say that you are a miracle that came to earth and be found by him. You are a miracle tonight to be found by us. So now I don't know what I've said, something, a sparking thing you can say back to me. Okay?
Okay. You want me? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
So
You know, at the same time.
I'll try not. I don't know all of the pieces, so you have to fill it in.
Uh-huh.
So when I was 16,
16.
and I first left the church.
Okay.
Remember, I disappeared. I moved out. I moved
Yeah.
away from home.
Yeah.
She is the woman that I moved out with.
Oh.
She is who I left the church and began living with when I was working at Burger King.
What was she living at then?
We were both in Kernersville.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Wow.
I think I remember seeing
we were
you in
16.
Kernersville.
Yeah.
Did she come in our office?
No, I remember seeing Vincent here in Kernersville.
Okay.
During that
Okay.
time. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was working at the Burger King right there off of I want to say Main Street. Off of 40, there, right there, where the Rite Aid is.
Yes.
I would say we were together about 1.5 years, but in that time period, because we were kids, trying to be grown. Had no idea of what we were doing. It got really bad. I'd lost my job, and depression had kicked in, and of course there was.
And I remember you had blonde hair.
Yes.
I didn't see that.
I remember seeing you.
I was wearing green contacts and had blonde hair. I
And
thought
blonde
I was
hair.
some superstar or somebody.
Now, Vincent, are you trying to tell me that this young lady followed you all the way to California?
She recently moved out here. We've reconnected. Now. She is not who I have children with, because I have 4 kids.
I kept seeing them, but I kept wondering where they were.
Yeah, they're all grown.
When I say see them, I don't have an idea that you had them, but I kept feeling the presence of it.
No, they're all. It's like I feel so young.
Yeah, you look so young to us.
Well, now, how long have y'all actually been together?
We've been together 1 year and 2 months now.
Yeah. But now, how does that all tie into what he was telling her?
Because what he was saying was he said a lot in that. When we were first together, when we were younger, I lost my job and all that. It got bad. She ended up cutting her wrist pretty bad.
Wow. Okay.
Being
suicide.
You said that, yes.
That in the at that time, she was 17, and I was 17. Wow. So that struck when you said that. That was the first thing I thought about. Yeah. And then there is or would be I don't know if the being that he's talking about would be the one that we had.
If it's too personal, don't say it.
But there was a miscarriage. That she had, we were together. And again, this is when I was 16, just turned 17. So
you guys were just kids,
right? And then I went further into the streets. I
remember that.
It was like what she did protected her from where I was going.
Okay.
I understand.
Because I could not get into contact with her.
I understand.
And so then my whole journey of just being defiant and I would say testing the boundaries.
Yes.
A lot. And now understanding grace and mercy. But after that whole period, we have finally, it's weird, she just up and called me out of the blue. I had been single for 5 years. So in my being single, I had been praying for someone.
Baby girl is now, she knows it's been an hour.
She's ready to go. She's like, it's 5. She's like, it's 8 o'clock. It is time.
Yeah, she knows. I swear this dog can tell time.
Yes, she is. That's a girl.
She is so big. I love her to life. But yes, we both know that there is a reason. That we both know there is a connection.
So that most of what he say it resonated with you. That's the point?
A whole lot.
You wanted
a whole
to.
lot. A whole lot. Yes.
Wow. Well, I can't believe this hour went so fast. Oh my gosh.
But I want to say to everybody that's online with us tonight, there is going to be a lot of things that happen to most of you within the next 2 months. That God is getting ready to show you his favor with you, and some in the area of transportation, automobile, traveling, and difficulty in getting some things done because of this pandemic. I see God showing you favor with some income, finances that's going to help everybody listening to me online. And I am believing and seeing the grace of the spirit of our identity, God, working miracles of provision for you. Thank you so much for all of you being with us. Thank you so much for the unconditional love, and thank you for the partnership of staying in the midst of all of us and talking to us. And we seeing your name come up on the screen is a wonderful blessing that you are. Vincent, we thank you.
Wow, you and Diana.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
This was so precious. This was precious.
And there's a whole lot more I could have told you about yourselves and things, but we just don't have the time.
We'll do it again. We'll do it again. But keep in touch with us. What I wanted to say was to any of them out there, if you ever get a chance to come in this direction and you need a place to stay, we welcome you here. And we'll do what we can to make sure that you see the real see what they're
flow
saying,
of God,
Vincent.
what they're saying.
Yeah, tell Vincent what it meant to you to hear him tonight.
Yeah.
Judy says you're such a bright.
I really appreciate it.
It's so amazing that you're in charge of lighting.
Yes. I find it an honor and a privilege. So much has happened in the 5 years of me being here. I was able to become a Television Academy member. And that is something that costs money every year, and Ryan Murphy pays it for whatever reason. He pays the bill. He's the guy that got me in the thing, and
well, you tell Ryan I tell Ryan I said send you a couple thousand. I'll take that right now.
The sky is the limit. The sky is the limit for you.
Yes, it is the limit. That's
sky is the limit for you. And they're all saying thank you.
Thank you so much, Alicia.
They're all saying thank you.
Hey, thank you all so much. Thank you all so much.
We love you so much,
watching. I love you.
Yes, we love you guys so much. And look, we'll do this again.
Yes.
Yeah, I know Pastor said he wanted to Zoom sometime.
Look, I know you got to do this with us and Pastor Norman.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So that was the whole thing. I told her. I said, I don't know if I'm. That's why I was nervous. I said, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do. I said, babe, it's a whole hour. I said, I'm not Pastor Norman. I'm not Apostle Norman at all. And
what is our conversation with you? And it's so good.
Between both of you guys, I see an angel looking at a wisdom tooth in the back of your mouth, and it has something to do with the disturbance in that area. And I see the wisdom of God getting into that wisdom tooth area.
And you blessed them. You blessed them. They hear us all the time. Yeah. But when they hear someone who's actually experiencing this that we're talking about, it's always beneficial. You see, they're telling you that. They're liking it. They're liking it.
Thank you so much. Sister Carr, oh my goodness.
and that says Cornerstone. That's Sister Chris. I don't know if
Sister Chris. I was going to say that's Sister Chris.
Yeah, Sister Christine.
Yes, I'm here.
And there's Jahan. Oh, Jahan is on there with us.
Hey, I remember. Her mama got me one time. I was skipping school. I was at Carver and got caught over there. That's how hard to say. What you doing over here? I'm gonna call your mama.
Oh Lordy.
Oh wow. Well, just hang on for a minute. We're gonna say goodbye to everybody, and we'll see you guys on Sunday. Well, no, Thursday at 12:30. We'll be back on again with Pastor Norman and myself, and sidekick here. He'll be hanging in there with us, and we're just gonna have another great conversation. So we're gonna see you guys later, and we're gonna say goodbye.
Bye bye.